The police department has been asked to come up with $92 million in cuts, something the superintendent says would have an impact.
If the National Guard were to come here, if they were to come here, I'd find a way to work with them that would be in the best interest of everyone here.
Bobby Fisher and his Naperville home has a giant hole in the roof with no one to fix it after an early afternoon ice operation scattering roofers in all directions.
Our neighbors witnessed agents with guns drawn running down, a residential street, which just seems irresponsible.
They commenced to attack us, to throw us onto the ground, he says, and overcome with emotion. Some of them are fathers, the 32-year-old tells us.
There shouldn't be anything wrong with guys making a living. I don't care if they're documented or not.
And we're back, y'all. Thank you for watching today. Go ahead and hit that like button, my people. You know that it helps us out a ton. And of course, it helps you because it helps us keep bringing you these stories every day. Now, y'all, yesterday we brought you this video of your boy literally losing his cool in a press conference when talking about violence. The residents of Chicago, they want to know about how we're going to bring down the violence. And the illustrious sub 10% approval rating mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson, he wants them to stop asking those questions.
Dr. King said this right here in Chicago, the National Conference on New Politics. What did he say? He said militarism is a sickness. I am trying to eradicate the sickness from this city and from this country. To offer, no, listen, Mark, I get to answer my question now. You've asked it. No, Mark, I'm answering my questions. Of course they are, but you're not going to be able to avoid that if we don't do the things that actually work. We are not split on this issue. The fact of the matter is, no one has asked me to send federal troops into this city to make it safe. It has never come up. It never came up during the campaign.
But maybe what he did not count on is the fact that the top cop, the highest ranking cop in Chicago, he is willing to accept the federal troops. Now, as you watch this video, you're going to see that his name is Snelling. He can't just come out and say, yo, send us the help, we need it, right? Because his job is, even though he's law enforcement, it's somewhat political. He's trying to figure out how he's going to cut $90 million from his budget. 90 million. They're already 1,000 cops short, y'all. And now Snelling, the top cop, has to cut another $90 million because the illustrious sub 10% approval rating mayor of Chicago, the guy you see there having a conniption fit, he gave all the money to the migrants. Y'all already know that, $800 million. And now the city's in a $1.something billion budget shortfall. They have to cut everywhere. They're already 1,000 cops short. And think about this. Donald Trump has offered to send them basically free law enforcement, a surge of free law enforcement that the city of Chicago would not have to pay for. Imagine you're the top cop. You'd be like, oh my gosh, I can bring my murder numbers down to 0 for free. But the mayor doesn't want that to happen. And now the top cop has to kind of figure out how he can say, yo, Trump, send in the troops, without, saying, yo, Trump, send in the troops. So, y'all, we're going to take a look at that. And also some ICE raids, y'all, have the people in Chicago on edge, y'all. Let's go ahead and hop right into it. But before we do, y'all, make sure you take care of your money. I'm not going to make this a long one, y'all. Go to Paralegold, PARALEGOLD.com, or call 844-651-8334, 844-651-8334. If you have $50,000 to $100,000 or more in your retirement, protected from inflation, protected from monetary debasement, you're about to retire. Make sure your money's still there and it's still worth something by investing at least some of it in gold. Talk to our partners at Augusta Precious Metals. Go click the link now, get the free information, and protect your precious retirement.
The city council heads into budget season. Department heads are facing tough questions about their spending. The police department has been asked to come up with $92 million in cuts, something the superintendent says would have an impact. Police Superintendent Larry Snelling taking his turn in the budget hot seat today, telling city council members that the department is well aware of the current budget crisis and he realizes CPD will have to do its part, but he has concerns.
I want to be very careful and cautious
about where we cut and what we do so that it doesn't affect the progress that we're making right now and the safety of the city.
Before the hearing, advocates gathered outside demanding that money allocated for unfilled police positions be reallocated for public health and community care.
So we have a system that is broken and we need to fix it. And the only place where we can find the money to fix it right now is in the police department.
There were concerns about police overtime as well.
I think when you got a $1.5 billion deficit, you've got to look at every department. And so what I've called for isn't necessarily cutting, but auditing at the very least, right? Are we spending the money as effectively as possible?
The police department has already racked up $28 million more than the $100 million it's budgeted for overtime due to a multitude of major events. The superintendent saying organizers like NASCAR, which had its own inside security, helped defray police overtime, suggesting other event hosts might need to do the same.
So there you see the dire budgetary straits that the city of Chicago is in under the leadership of the illustrious sub 10% approval rating mayor of that city, Chicago. Brandon Johnson is his name, and giving all of the money away to migrants is his game. So now think about this. As I said earlier, the top cop, he just saw the opportunity to get federal law enforcement in to help him out, to alleviate the burden of a 1,000 police officer shortfall. He just saw that evaporate. Now, Donald Trump he has continued to talk about it, so it might actually still be on the table. But just imagine being in this job where you'd be like, yo, we could use the help. But of course, you don't want to just come out and say that directly because, again, your job is quasi-political. You answer to somebody, and you answer to the person you answer to is this guy that you see on your screen having a conniption fit about the very prospect of getting that help. So, you can't just come out and say it. You allude to it. Let's take a look.
Snelling said he is concerned that meeting the suggested $92 million in cuts could hurt public safety, with the department already short nearly 1,000 officers.
We still have a lot of work to do. We're going in the right direction. It's going to take some time. And we just have to make sure that our department is properly staffed to get that done.
So a lot of people asking, what if President Trump sends the National Guard to Chicago? Now Chicago's top cop is weighing in on what he would do in response.
NBC5's Charlie Vajahusky asked him right after a budget hearing this afternoon. Charlie joins us now. So what did Superintendent Snelling have to say, Charlie?
Well, Superintendent Snelling, he's not the kind of cop who likes to insert himself in political situations. Today he approached the scenario the mayor and the governor have lambasted with care and diplomacy.
If the National Guard were to come here, I'd find a way to work with them that would be in the best interest of everyone here.
Superintendent Larry Snelling says he doesn't want to see the National Guard deployed to Chicago, as the president has repeatedly threatened to do.
Chicago is a death trap, and I'm going to make it just like I did with D.C., just like I'll do with Memphis.
When it comes to that type of talk, I don't pay that attention as in law enforcement. I would just tell people, come look at the city of Chicago.
So arguably, Donald Trump does need the approval of the governor of Illinois. He doesn't need the illustrious sub 10% approval rating mayor's approval for anything. But he does need the approval of the governor of Illinois to send in the National Guard. But you know what? He doesn't need the approval of anybody for? To send in ICE. ICE has been going into Illinois. They've been going into Chicago, and they just been doing what it is that they do, y'all, rounding people up. And the Chicagoans, I guess some of them are happy about it. But the news, they don't show the Chicagoans who are happy about it. They show the Chicagoans who are unhappy about it. Like the guy who had a bunch of undocumented people working on his roof, who's very upset because these guys should be able to work. It doesn't matter their immigration status. They should be able to earn a living in our country. Like this guy.
This is new tonight, a dramatic ICE raid in Naperville. Causing a chaotic situation, according to witnesses there.
Federal agents appearing to target a suburban roof repair business to the distress of the workers and many residents in Crest Creek. WGN's Jillian Cruz shows you what happened in Naperville.
Good evening. Residents stunned by the chain of events, witnesses describing ICE agents without any advance warning to homeowners whatsoever converging on this two-story home this early afternoon to the distress of many.
There was obviously debris everywhere, tools everywhere, and then we've been finding tool belts.
Bobby Fisher and his Naperville home has a giant hole in the roof with no one to fix it after an early afternoon ICE operation scattering roofers in all directions.
Our neighbors witnessed agents with guns drawn running down, a residential street, which just seems irresponsible.
The Fisher family not present when this all went down. They were out celebrating a birthday, coming home to an abandoned work site with all the roofers inexplicably gone. Neighbors quickly getting the Fishers up to speed. One of the roofers, who doesn't want to reveal his identity, telling us the hard-charging ICE agents were heavy-handed in his opinion, as they took many of the roofers into custody. They commenced to attack us, to throw us onto the ground, he says. The roofer, still shaken, barely able to finish his conversation, overcome with emotion. Some of them are fathers, the 32-year-old tells us, himself a father of 3. It's very hard what is happening to us. It's a lot of harm that they're doing to us.
There shouldn't be anything wrong with guys making a living. I don't care if they're documented or not.
Bobby Fisher wishing that the agents had used more discretion and done this at a safer location, he says, without putting the roofers or the neighborhood in harm's way. In Naperville, Julian Cruz, WGN News.
And then also you have the people who themselves are people who maybe came across the border without permission, and they want ICE to stop the immigration enforcement activities pronto.
As immigrant enforcement intensifies on Chicago area streets, some who are undocumented seek hope from above.
What we have discovered during this time is that God is more than evil.
During an interfaith vigil at First Presbyterian Church of Elgin,
we have elected officials calling for immigration enforcement to back off, because this is our community.
This crisis can make us or break us.
It's concern over ICE operations that drives Maggie Lugo's commitment, she says, to protecting undocumented immigrants. Like herself, she moved from Mexico to Chicago's Little Village neighborhood with her family when she was 8 years old.
This is a life mission, and knowing that, yes, I do have a status under DACA that's also not, it's in court. Like, that doesn't make me permanent. They're arresting U.S. citizens like what happened yesterday.
Those 2 apparent American citizens were released after being detained. The incident captured in this video posted by DHS. Federal authorities now confirming ICE agents arrested 5 people in Elgin Tuesday. We've blurred their faces since we do not know if they've been formally charged. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem saying in a statement, quote, President Trump has been clear. If politicians will not put the safety of their citizens first, this administration will. That militarized federal force was also seen in this video as ICE agents descended on Elgin during its ongoing Operation Midway Blitz.
I would argue that historically, ICE has always been an agency that skirts the law, but this level of violence and, like I said, theater has a sort of unprecedented flavor to it.
And in response to Tuesday's ICE arrests here in Elgin, Secretary Noem saying in a statement, quote, our work is only beginning. In Elgin, Trey Ward, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Y'all, I honestly feel like, what's happening out there in the country? Are we dividing into a country where half of the people say, yo, stop enforcing the laws? And then the other half is like, yo, enforce the law. Is that what's happening? Because I feel like one half of the country is like, this person doesn't have documentation, but that doesn't matter. Leave him alone. Leave her alone. This person has been locked up 1,000 times for violent crimes, but let that person out of jail. That person has a life to live. We have to let that person free. And then you have the other side like, yo, we got to get these people out the country. They don't even have permission. And for the people who have been doing all the violence, put them in jail and keep them there. It feels like there's a divide here, y'all. What do y'all think about this? How do people justify not enforcing the law. You know what I mean? I mean, listen, there's some dumb laws out there, right? Is immigration one of those laws? Are the immigration laws among the dumb laws? Let me know what y'all think. Let me know what y'all think down in the comments. And particularly, what about the top cop in Chicago? He must be whispering in the mayor's ear like, doofus, we need the help. Stop being stupid, man. People are dying out here. We are short 1,000 officers, $90 million on top of the 1,000, and they gonna send in people for free. We don't have to pay for it. You see, yo, and I'm also gonna point something out to y'all. You see how they say we want NASCAR? You see how they say NASCAR brought their own security, which is good, and that they may tell other organizations, yo, bring your own security.
Snelling was at City Hall to testify at council budget hearings. His department, which is already down almost 1,000 officers, is being asked to find more than $90 million in cuts to help plug a $1 billion-plus budget hole. One solution: follow NASCAR's example and require major events to provide their own security rather than rely on police overtime.
NASCAR, from previous years, our overtime is way down when it comes to NASCAR because we didn't have to worry about anything on the inside. They had their own security teams within.
Any cuts, Snelling says, will be difficult.
We just have to be very careful just to make sure that we're not putting the department in a position where it's going to be harder for us to keep our residents safe.
But at the same time, they're rejecting the security from the United States that they want to send in, that the country wants to send in and help Chicago out. Think about that, y'all. Let me know what you think about this down in the comments, y'all. Before you do, please stop right now, whatever you're doing. Hit that share button. Share this video out with somebody else. 2 people. Share it over email, text message, WhatsApp, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, all your favorite social mediums. And if you're not a subscriber, please do subscribe. For my people with a retirement, y'all go down, click that first link in the description, Paralegold, PARALEGOLD.com. Get information on protecting your retirement from the illustrious sub 10% approval rating mayors out there who would love to take it and give it to somebody else. You know who they want to give it to, right? You know who they want to give it to. And speak to our partners at Augusta Precious Metals at 844-651-8334. Thank y'all for watching. Love y'all, and we'll see you back in the next one.